Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by here on another losing game day after the game day. It's just unbelievable with this football team. But you know what? I appreciate everybody that's going to stop by today as we try to talk about this game. We look ahead to the NFL trade deadline, and we're going to have a mailbag on today's show. Look, it's tough to be a fan of the New York Giants right now. And to make it even worse, Brian Daboll has already named Daniel Jones the starting quarterback for this Sunday against the Washington Commanders. But you know what? I bleed Giants blue. I love this football team. And whether you agree with my takes, whether you disagree with my takes, one thing's for sure is I'm going to be up here every single day, and I'm going to be here holding it down for all the real ones in the building. So let's get a real one roll call going. I don't expect a lot of people here today. It's easy to quit after you're 2-6. And I know there was a lot of people down in the dumps today, but if you're a real one and you're riding or dying with the New York Football Giants, give me a real one down in the comment section. Make sure you have hit that thumbs up icon. CTM in the building. Rob Jigga in the building. Thunder is here. And Greg Congdon is here as well. You know what? Those are the only four people I need in the chat today. Joined by my guy, Jay Liv. What up, Jay Liv? The Natural Code hanging out. What's up, my guy? Frank in the building. What's happening, my man? Shout out to you. Yeah, if everyone could, please hit that thumbs up icon. Easiest way to support the channel is free. It is easy. And the more likes we get, the better this channel and the better this show is going to do. Shout out to y'all. Real one from Ox. We appreciate y'all. Rob Jigga says, on Sunday morning, the Giants held the 9th overall pick. Then after the afternoon games, we moved to 10th. After last night, we now have the 9th. Again, we lost the division leader. Why aren't we 6th or 7th? Because when it comes to tied records for draft orders, the tiebreaker is the strength of schedule. So those teams in front of us have had a easier schedule than the New York Football Giants. Castano says win streak begins against the Commanders. You go and beat the Commanders, then maybe you go out and you go beat the Panthers. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Look, I felt like the Giants were going to win last night. I actually believed that during the game. I believed that before the game. I always have this weird feeling that when everyone's against the Giants, when everyone's saying the Giants are going to lose, they come out and they play good football. And overall, I do think the Giants played some good football yesterday, but at the end of the day, it just was not good enough, especially in key areas. And it just felt like they weren't ready to play. You had 10 offensive penalties. You had 4 illegal formations. You had multiple illegal motions. You couldn't snap the ball before the play clock hit 0 multiple times. You're good, Rob Jigga, man. Hey, we're about to get rolling here with some mock drafts maybe next week because it seems like the only fun thing to do is to look forward to the offseason because not that much fun talking about the games anymore, and I'm not really even having much fun watching the games anymore. Malik says, when you have DJ, you have no chance. Well, that's pretty right. Ox says, Marsh, does it scare you that a lot of the teams that are picking first in the draft need QBs? I want Cam Moore, but I don't know if Joe is the type of guy to spend draft capital even when it matters. Should Joe Schoen be able to even commence another draft for the New York Giants? I think that's a question we probably have to ask first. Smitty, the trade deadline is around the corner, and a lot of people are asking me, Marsh, should the Giants be buyers? Should they be sellers? It's an obvious sell situation, but the thing is when you're a bad football team, you don't have any good football players, and I'm not really sure the Giants have much to sell.
Yeah, there's been talk that they would only get the only really 2 big candidates. The big candidates that the Giants would be throwing out there, Azeez Ojulari and Darius Slayton, probably wouldn't return a draft capital or a package that makes it worth it for the Giants to trade potentially. But those are the 2 big names. I just don't know if the overall result is going to be worth giving up those 2 guys because I think Azeez Ojulari especially is a very good player.
Yeah, he's played really well. I think in the last 3 starts, he's got 5 sacks. He's got 6 sacks on the season. He's top 10 across the NFL. And if you've been watching this channel for a couple of years, you know that I'm a huge Azeez Ojulari guy. I think when it comes to strictly rushing the passer and getting after the quarterback, he's one of the best. Jay Liv, if you listen there, I said that's only 4 I need. And then I said, and we're joined by our guy, Jay Liv. Jay Liv, you know what the deal is. I don't got time for the mopey stuff today.
Got enough moping.
Only the real ones are going to be here today. I'll tell you that much. Thunder, what's up, my man? Says I want to keep Azeez Ojulari too. I guess it just kind of comes down to how much are you going to pay him in free agency? Because if I'm a team and I need a pass rushing edge, I'm going to offer him a job to be a starter, and I'm going to pay him a lot of money, whereas the Giants, they already have Brian Burns. They already have Kayvon Thibodeau. And look, two edge rushers is not enough. You need more of those, and as Giants fans, we know you could never have too many pass rushers. It just comes down to the price point. Thunder says trade Thibodeau. Trade Kayvon Thibodeau. Both are 24 years old. I wouldn't trade Thibodeau. I liked what I saw from him before the injury, but man, yeah, Giants are in a tough spot right now with their roster construction, and what they're going to be. He says, "Trust me, bro." Nah. Oh, Thunder, you crack me up, my man. If you Jay Liv, you bleed Giants blue, my man. You bleed Giants blue. We're going to start today's show with a mailbag. I just wanted to get up here, answer questions. It says, honestly, Lawrence is the move, as in trade Dexter Lawrence? Is that maybe you mean trade for Trevor Lawrence? If the Giants traded Dexter Lawrence, I would probably stop doing this show. You don't trade Dexter Lawrence. He's going to be the defensive player of the year. And the Giants, they are not in the business of trading those type of players.
I mean, he's the best player on your roster. Like, I don't know if it's particularly close. Brian Burns is really, really good too, of course. But Dexter Lawrence is in a league of his own at that position. You never have to fill that position again for the next 10 years. You have Dexter Lawrence. Keep him around. Those guys you build around.
Yeah, I have no intention, no want to trade Dexter Lawrence. I'd actually extend him on another contract right now before it balloons up again.
Fact.
We are going to start today's show with a mailbag. So if you want to get your questions in on today's show, go down to the comment section, use hashtag Giants, or you could super chat. All super chats are guaranteed.
Spot in the mailbag.
Guaranteed a spot on the mailbag. I want to just get up here and have a little event session and just chop it up with all the New York Giants fans. Just a quick live today. We got 2 segments. We're going to do a mailbag, and then we're going to react to some trade rumors going around the New York Football Giants. Mike Garafolo, NFL insider for NFL Network, shared his thoughts on where the Giants are and Azeez Ojulari and a potential Darius Slayton trade. And then Ryan Dunleavy, who covers this team, he mentioned 2 other players the New York Giants could be trading at the deadline.
Rob Jigga, shout out to you. Great question. Just use hashtag Giants, not hashtag Giants chat.
Yeah, hashtag Giants, just like it looks on screen. That way Smitty can use our software to pop it up on screen. Riso says it's a shame I have New York Giants gear that I haven't even worn. I can't wear it. Yeah, no. Amo says you quit. Never say you bleed blue again. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. Cody says, how are you feeling? I'm feeling good, brother. I'm feeling good, my man. Thunder says, I don't want to either, but we're not moving up in this draft for the QB then. You don't know that.
Good question, Ricardo. I mean, you can still need a couple more. Whatever you guys want to know.
A2 says, having draft assets for a team that can't draft is absolutely pointless. Kenny, it's a hard watch right now, man. It really is. And that's why the video I put out on the channel this morning, I said that Brian Daboll is failing New York Giants fans because no one wants to watch the product that they have right now. And at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. And while you think whether Daniel Jones is better than Drew Lock is better than Daniel Jones, clearly nothing is going to change with Daniel Jones at quarterback. So just try something else. Try something else.
Greg, good question. Just throw hashtag Giants on the end of that. Copy it, paste that back into the chat, and use hashtag Giants so I can put it up on screen for the mailbag.
Can you take just a filter off with the new way or
I
no?
probably could. Let me see here.
It might be one of those days. Picho in the building. What up, Picho? Ricardo in the building. Shout out to you for getting a question in.
Yeah, I can unfilter them.
Malik says the left tackle didn't block at all. I thought Jermaine Illuminor held up pretty well against T.J. Watt. Jermaine Illuminor held up pretty well. Excuse me, the left tackle. Yeah, the left tackle. He didn't have a good game. That's what happens, though, when you sign someone off at other team's practice squad 10 days before playing them. But, hey, remember, Smitty, what did Daboll said? We trust in the process. The process was to have Josh Azudu be your swing tackle all offseason long, and you benched him after one game. But he also said he trusts in the people in the building.
That's right.
So which one is it? Do you not trust the people, or do you not trust the process? Because I believe the process for the New York Giants is broken right now.
Not even flawed, broken. I mean, he doesn't trust Deonte Banks. He doesn't trust Evan Neal.
He trusts Daniel Jones, though.
But that's really it's really unfortunate that that's the one exception. If it's performance based, because it didn't seem like an effort thing with Deonte Banks last night. Deonte Banks missed 2 tackles. One of them he got hurdled over, and he was benched. Daniel Jones, critical strip sack.
He didn't.
He had zero awareness. He didn't even look that way. The most dominant pass rusher in the league, he didn't even look at him.
I don't know if we talked about this, you and I, but after the game, Brian Daboll said that Daniel Jones was supposed to check to move the tight end over that side.
Yeah, and then he said he was sorry.
And then he said he was sorry.
So he feels terrible about it.
He feels terrible about it. You know what I feel terrible about? Watching you play football, Daniel Jones.
And like, what kind of answer is that? Like, I feel terrible because I spilled red wine on, my friend's couch. Like that's something I feel terrible about. You're an NFL quarterback making $100 million. This is not the place for sob stories.
Oh, man. And then, Smitty, you would even think on that play, Daniel Jones doesn't move over Theo Johnson to block him. He should have a clock in his head like, oh, shit, I'm leaving Jermaine Illuminor on an island by himself versus T.J. Watt. What does he do? Here I am. Here's the ball. Take it, TJ. Take it, TJ. Just no awareness. Just no pocket presence. And no juice. No winning. No guts.
He honestly attracts pressure. The funniest thing, on the last pick he threw, the one pick he threw last night, but he attracted pressure on that play. He really wasn't under much duress. Kind of rolled out to the right where he found pressure and then floated it. The only overthrow Daniel Jones has ever had on a check down in his life, and he bombs it past him by 10 yards. Easiest pick of their lives.
I'll tell you this much, rewatching the game this morning was tough.
I was going to say, why'd you do that? I know you have to, it's unfortunate that you have to do that.
Not fun. Man, they're just
not fun.
It's not fun. This is supposed to be fun.
It's a game. It's a children's game, as a matter of fact.
Hey, but he's trying the best he can to be the best he can.
And he feels bad when he makes mistakes.
I'm replaying the game once again in my head. Think about what happened in the fourth quarter. You score. You cut the lead to 8. And then from then, the game was an actual comedy show by the New York Football Giants. You try a swing and gate play on the 2-point conversion. Your team's not set. They don't know what to do. You then get a stop, Smitty.
Yes, they did.
And you drive the ball down the field. And then you fumble. Game's over. And then you get another stop. And you're driving the ball down the field. And then you throw a game-sealing interception. Daniel Jones had 2 chances. 2 chances under the bright lights on Monday Night Football to go and deliver a win for the New York Giants. Couldn't get it done.
Good teams won't give you 2 chances there. The Steelers kind of tried to hand you that game. They wanted you. Daniel Jones was completing passes of 10, 15-plus yards. But what happens when it matters? What happens on critical third downs? He folds.
Bill says Illuminor's holding called back that tutty we should have had. I don't remember that play. The only touchdown the Giants had was thrown to Chris Manhertz, and that was called back because Malik Neighbors reportedly was not set.
Yeah.
I don't remember that play, Bill. Which play are you talking about? I'm just curious.
They were the Twitter trolls were not happy with you about the Malik Neighbors play.
Which one?
Because the one he got called for the penalty on. Like, I think you were just mad because it was another pre-snap penalty because it was just they kept piling on last night, and then they were like, "Oh, dude, you're so mad. All you do is whine. It wasn't even a penalty." Well, it got called, didn't it?
Penalty got called. Clearly, it was a penalty.
Like,
do you think the ref just?
Even if it was a weak ass call, you still lose the yards.
Yeah, I don't understand. Make it abundantly clear to Malik Neighbors, Brian Daboll. This is what you have to do. This is how you motion. This is how you get set.
And is a little bit of that not on Daniel Jones too, though?
I think it is because you are the CEO of the offense.
I think there were multiple instances last night where Daniel Jones just simply snapped the ball too quick. His players weren't set. And that's an indictment on him. You have to have your guys ready. That's Brian Daboll. That's on Daniel Jones.
Yeah, do that, Bill. I don't remember that one. Greg Congdon, my man, coming in with a $5 super chat. Shout out to Greg Congdon.
GC, the GOAT.
He's been the MVP of Giants now by Chat Sports this season. He is officially the Bang God for the month of October. Shout out to you, Greg. We got a lot of stuff coming your way. I got to message you, and I got to play catch up on some of these super chat giveaway items. Kind of falling behind. I'm kind of super swamped with those, so please stick with me. I promise we're going to get you guys that stuff. I promise. Greg says, one mock had us drafting Garrett Nussmeier. How do we trade up to save us from that blunder?
Shut up, Greg. This is up on the mailbag.
It's going to be a very interesting second half of the season for the NFL. The Giants are 2-6, and they hold the 9th pick in the NFL draft. A lot of things are going to change. Hopefully the Giants get closer and closer to pick number 1, and other teams separate themselves from pick number 1. But I'm of the opinion there's only one quarterback I would take in the first round at this moment. That is Cam Ward. I have a first-round grade on Shedeur Sanders, but I don't know if I want to bring another clown to the circus that is the New York Giants right now.
Car's full.
Yeah. I think that Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. I think he's the most accurate quarterback in this class. I think that he plays well under pressure. But a lot of baggage. I think Cam Ward is going to be a stud. Got to go to the right system. Has to be coached up some. He's still just a kid. He's still just learning to play the quarterback position. In high school, he played in a triple option offense. He was playing D2 football 3 years ago. Still a way to go, but I think that the ceiling and the projection of Ward is the guy that has an all-pro caliber ceiling. When it comes to Garrett Nussmeier, I've actually had the opportunity to cover a couple of Garrett Nussmeier's high school games. I think I did 3 of them when he played high school football here in Dallas, Texas. I got to interview him a couple times. Super sharp kid, high football IQ. He's a gamer. He loves this stuff. He's got some swag. He's got some charisma. He's got a good arm. I think he still has a ways to go, though, when it comes to development. I think he's only played 9 games in his college football career.
Yeah, that sounds
There's
right.
definitely some traits there. There's definitely some tools there. But
I don't even know if there's a guarantee that he comes out this year.
yeah, and I think the only reason he would come out this year is because this class is so weak to where he may be thrown into a first-round spot. For me, overall, I like the upside in Nussmeier. I like his play style. Some people have him, Dane Brugler, who I think is the best in the business when it comes to drafting media draft guys, has him as the number 1 quarterback. I disagree on that one. I have Cam Ward there. But there is a lot to like about Nussmeier. There's no doubt about it. He played in a great game in the bowl game last year with Malik Neighbors when Jane Daniels did not play. I just need to see more of it. 8, 9, 10, 11 games as a college starting quarterback just simply isn't enough for me. And the Giants are in a spot where they can't miss on this next quarterback. You miss on this next quarterback, you're going to be a bad team again for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You have to get this pick right. And not saying that Nussmeier is or isn't. I would just like there to be more evidence. Therefore, I could be more confident in the kid that I'm taking. But as much as identifying the right guy and selecting the right guy, it's just as important to build a team around him and develop that guy in the National Football League. You're throwing a dart no matter what. I would just like more than a 12-game sample size for Nussmeier. Again, I like the kid. I've talked to him, covered him. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. His dad was, I believe, a quarterback coach in the NFL for a while, so he's got some of that inside of him. I just don't know if I can take him after. I am as maybe my QB3. I'll just leave it at that. Maybe my QB3, maybe my QB4.
Okay.
It's Ward, it's Sanders, and then there's a severe drop for me personally. Joey DeLuca, what's up, my man? Still a long way to go in the college football season. Still a lot of tape for me to watch, but that's just where I'm at the midway point. Joey, thank you for being here, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. Jaquicks. Still one of my favorite names on YouTube. What up, man? Satisfied with this year's draft class. Just hoping the next one is as good, too. And look, this is a great point by you, JJ. I know there's a lot to be upset about, and look, I can out-negative anybody in the world. That's one of my superpowers. I can be negative just as much as the Nancys out there. But I can also give props, I feel like, at a very high rate as well. And Joe Schoen and the scouting department and everybody that was involved in the draft class of 2024 deserves a great job. They deserve a round of applause. Malik Neighbors is a stud. Tyler Nubin is going to be a starter for a long time in this league. Andrew Phillips has a good chance to be a really good football player. Had a rough night last night. He's kind of had his welcome to the NFL moment, but he's also been pretty damn good so far this year. I think Theo Johnson is going to be a tight end that can contribute in this league, and I think his floor is a high upside tight end too. Tyrone Tracy is a stud. He is the guy that we identified prior to the draft. We told you guys about him. We liked his skill set. We liked his ability to be a pass catcher, which I feel like we haven't even really gotten a taste of so far. They hit that pick out of the park, and I think Muasau was a great pick in round 6. You took a good football player. The 2024 class is good. Thing is, the 2022 class is kind of a joke, and so is the 2023 class.
Yep.
As a GM, you can't go 1 for 3 out of drafts. Think about it like this. Joe Schoen has made 4 picks in the first round. Evan Neal, we'll do it in order. Kayvon Thibodeau, I think he's a player. Evan Neal, he's a bum. Deonte Banks, I think there's talent there. I don't know if he's the guy in between the ears. And Malik Neighbors. So you've hit on 2 of the 4, and there's a character concern about one of the guys who you traded up for in the round 1, and you drafted him over a guy like Joey Porter Jr., who feels like he's going to be a top corner in this league for the next 15 years. I get it. Not all first-round picks are going to be home runs. Not all, because if they were, every team would be great. Half of the picks in the first round every year are busts. But the good GMs find a way to lower that bust rate. And so far, Giants are batting about 50%. 50%. Philosopher E, what's up, my man? Thank you for being here. Shout out to all 220 people in the building. Shout out to y'all. If you could, hit that thumbs up icon. Can we get to 100 likes? I'd greatly appreciate it. If you have liked the video, drop a me in the chat so I know who the real ones are. What's up? It says, is it me, guys? But when that camera turned to Daboll, it looks like he doesn't want to be there. I see no passion as a head coach. I don't know if I saw it like that, Philosopher E. There was a lot of yelling and a lot of passion, if you want to display it that way, from Brian Daboll last night. Patrick Seatman texted Smitty and I during the game, and he's like, man, Daboll's fired up on the sideline. And I'm like, I don't really care about that. Be fired up in the meetings prior to the game and get your team lined up and ready to snap the ball before the play clock hits 0. I don't think that Daboll has necessarily quit on this team, but I do think that there is a point of maybe he's reached his limit, of maybe he's just worn out. Maybe he knows. And Smitty said it before the show, and maybe he's tired of being forced to play Daniel Jones. I don't know.
I don't think John. I honestly, guys, maybe I'm the tinfoil hat guy. Maybe I'm conspiracy theory, but I don't think Brian Daboll wakes up every day and is like, man, I can't wait to watch Daniel Jones play the first team reps today. Like, I just don't. I think he's too smart of a football mind for that to be the case. But I could be wrong. He could be an idiot. He's actively sabotaging his job by continuing to play Daniel Jones because you are not winning games with Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I don't doubt the passion for Brian Daboll, but I do think that I feel like it. Try and choose my words carefully here. I get it, he's your boss, and I get it, he's the one who signs your checks. But if Brian Daboll is only playing Daniel Jones because John Mara is telling him to do so, I don't want him as my head coach. I want the coach that's going to do what's best for his team, even if it's going to ruffle feathers in your front office. Brian Daboll is a good enough football mind, and I think there are other GMs in this league that would love to have Brian Daboll as their coach. Mm-hmm. And I say that to say it's not like if the Giants bench Daniel Jones and, let's play the game, right? John Mara fires him because he's not doing what he's told. Brian Daboll will get another head coach job.
100%.
It's not like if he disobeys, he's going to be blackballed from the NFL. So I don't want to believe that John Mara is making him do it. But if he is, and Brian Daboll is falling in line and being a yes man, I don't want him to have this job either. Bill Belichick ain't playing Daniel Jones because John Mara tells him to. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just kind of where I'm at on that. Drop your nuts.
That's what I was waiting for you to say.
Drop your nuts, Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
Drop your nuts.
Grow a pair.
Sorry for the insensitive comment. Pierce coming in with $1 super chat. First time super chat for Pierce. Shout out to Pierce, my man. Thanks for being here. If you got a comment, take something, drop it.
He did. Let me scroll up and find. He said, forgot to add my question. Do we go QB or do we go safety/DT in the draft?
Obviously, it's going to depend on where you're picking, who is on the board. But one thing I would like to see the Giants do in the drafts going forward is draft the best player available. The Giants have been drafting need since Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen have taken over.
This is insane.
And I get, ideally, you want to marriage the two. You want to draft for need, and you want to draft for BPA, and you want to try to marry the two. But at the end of the day, Smitty, what's one team this thing lacks? Depth. Right? How do you fix depth? Drafting BPA. You know how you put a Band-Aid over a hole is you draft for need in the draft. For instance, Giants haven't drafted a defensive tackle on day 1 or day 2 of the NFL draft in the past 3 years. DT2 was a major hole for the New York Giants when Joe Schoen took over. So what did he do? You sign Raheem Nunez-Roches, and you don't draft a DT in 2022. What happens in the season of 2023? You don't draft a DT, you go with Raheem Nunez-Roches. Now DT2 is a major hole because Raheem Nunez-Roches is no good. You don't have a legitimate corner that you can go to outside Deontay Banks because you only drafted Banks because there was a need there. You didn't revisit that position. You want to marry the two, and I feel like there's been too much drafting for need rather than best player available, and that is causing the New York Giants to be extremely thin and apply a patchwork type of mentality into the draft every single week. A lot of words there. Sounded good in my head. I hope that makes sense to y'all. Jay Liv says, what Marsh worry get out?
I think it was like a little sarcastic, like, worry about what, though? I'm confused. I don't know. I forget what we were talking about.
Jay Liv, just comment down below, and I'll read it out. Comment what you meant down below. Just comment. I want to know what you meant. Basil says, well, they fired Ben McAdoo for sitting Eli. But Smitty, John Mayer told me Ben McAdoo was safe.
Yep. They fired him 2 weeks later.
What does it say about what your general manager or your owner says about the people in power?
How can you trust that guy?
You can't. How can you? If you have to issue a vote of confidence, it means you're not confident. If you have to go out in week 7 and issue a vote of confidence for the brain trust of your team, you don't believe in them.
I think we have a John Mara burner in the chat.
Do we?
Yeah, Sven Carlson says, you can't bench Jones. Doesn't matter who they have as a backup. Jones is the best chance to win games. Not Locke, not Tommy D, not Tyrod Taylor last year. You can't pay a QB $40 million a year to ride the bench. And then he says, off-season, they made it known they were rolling with Jones and to take the next QB with Daboll still around next year.
What is he saying?
Like,
I don't know. Bronx Boy says, what if safety is the best player available in 2025 draft? You could use another safety. This team could use playmakers at every spot. Is there a position outside of left tackle, D tackle, outside of left tackle and D tackle and edge with Brian Burns? Left tackle, D tackle, edge.
Great positions, by the way, to have your top talent at, besides quarterback, of course.
The Giants could use an upgrade at every other position.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily mean an upgrade over Malik Neighbors. But, man, wouldn't it be really good if we got a receiver that was better than Malik Neighbors and you had him and Malik Neighbors? 3 receivers play. In my opinion, the Giants have one that's a game changer. I understand there's some people that believe that Darius Slayton is a really good player. I believe Darius Slayton is a solid football player. I believe that he is someone that would be a great wide receiver 3 on an explosive offense. I don't want to pigeonhole myself into Darius Slayton as my wide receiver 2 for the foreseeable future at $13 million per year. So what I mean is when Bronx Boy says, what about if the best position is safety, I would love to have a safety that's better than Jason Pinnock. And I love Jay Penny. I'd love to have a corner that's better than Deontay Banks.
And
I'd love to have a better linebacker than Bobby Okereke.
I'm not gonna lie. Second, I think corner is got to be the top priority after quarterback. If Will Johnson's there and Cam Ward isn't, you take Will Johnson every single time.
Yeah. So for me personally, drafting by best position available is the way to go. Maybe not at left tackle.
Best player available.
Yeah, best player available. But shoot, if there's a stud defensive tackle at pick 9, the Giants are there and Cam Ward's off the board, whew, how about we just load up on our strength and you have Dexter Lawrence, a great young rookie, and you got Burns, and you got Thibodeau, and you got Ojulari coming off the bench, and then you're a team that just wrecks the game then. Yeah, I am 100% best player available in the draft. Obviously, I want Cam Ward, and Cam Ward is going to be my number 1 player that I want, but Giants aren't necessarily good enough at other spots to pass up on potential Pro Bowlers. Kind of my thought. Bill, what up, man? From NFL Penalties, so double check me. Offensive holding, Jermaine Illuminor, quarter 4. Was that the hold on the big Tracy run? You want to look up a game log, Smitty, and see what that was?
Let me see the play-by-play.
Because I only remember one touchdown being called back. That penalty could have eliminated a touchdown drive, but the touchdown that was called back was a pass from Jones to Manhertz, and that was because either a legal formation or a legal motion. There was a big run called back. I do remember that. I keep saying what, Thunder? Let me know. I never know when I look at the chat is if people are talking to me or people are talking to the other people in the chat.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. I mean, no, because the Giants scored a touchdown on that drive.
That was the drive?
Yeah. It says 3rd and 6 at the Giants 49. Shotgun, Daniel Jones, pass short to Neighbors, out of bounds at Pitt's 44 for 7 yards. Penalty on Jermaine Illuminor, offensive holding 10 yards. Brings up 3rd and 16, but then
that's when Neighbors sat down at the sticks.
Neighbors sat down at the sticks, yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2 plays later, Tracy 45 to the crib.
Yeah, I only remember one touchdown being taken off the board. I remember one from last week. There's 2 touchdowns taken off the board for the Giants due to penalties.
What was last week's one?
That was the one to Theo Johnson that got taken off for pushing off.
Yep.
Is what they said. Jennifer Tingle says, hey, Marsh, the Giants got to play better to win. 100% agree. 100% agree, Tingle. Scott Hernan, what up, my dog? Yeah, buddy. Shout out to Scott Hernan. We are still here. Giants for life. I will say this. Shout out to y'all. Almost 300 people watching. But I'm pretty upset at the poll. I asked, have you quit on the Giants? And 46% of people have said, 54% of people said yes.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. If I can come up here and have to talk to you guys, don't freaking quit on this team.
Yep.
And I don't mean don't quit on Daboll. You can quit on them. Don't quit on the New York Football Giants. Bush Kid, what up, my man? $10 super chat. Thank you to you, my guy. Says, Marge, did Daboll adopt Jones? Because he can do no wrong. The NFL reporter said Jones is the problem.
Because the NFL reporters watch the game.
There is not, and we said this last week, Bush Kid, and I know not everyone catches every bit. Does anyone watching today's show have a friend that is a fan of another team that thinks Daniel Jones is good? Does anyone have friends that are fans of other teams that say, damn, I wish Daniel Jones was my quarterback? I've never met one.
I would even take it a step further. Like, do you know somebody who's a fan of another team who thinks Daniel Jones is startable on any team?
We did the exercise last week of all the teams in the playoffs. Would they still be playoff teams with Daniel Jones? We didn't find one.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I think anyone with a brain understands that Daniel Jones is a part of the problem. And I think everyone has – what's insane is people still are just making excuses for this guy. Yeah, you better be. You better be. The Giants have broke me, guys. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, yeah.
We do got a mailbag coming up, and then we're going to talk about some trade rumors that are heating up. Scruffy says, what about Banks? What about him, homie? Let me know what you want to know. Scruffy says, what about Banks? He was benched. Mike Garafolo mid-game reported that he got benched because he needs to tackle better. I went back and watched every play that Deonte Banks played, I didn't necessarily see a lack of effort. I did see someone that missed a tackle versus Najee Harris. I did see someone that missed a tackle versus George Pickens. But I did not see a lack of effort in Deonte Banks. So that tells me that he was benched because of performance and lack of production. Can we have that same energy applied to Daniel Jones? Because 2 fourth-quarter turnovers on primetime football, you will never win a football game. Can someone figure out the stat? How many quarterbacks have turned the football over to? What is the record of teams on Monday Night Football that have turned the ball over 2 times in the fourth quarter? I would assume that they are a lot of losses and not that many wins. Yeah, even then, Bill, you're right. Like, corners aren't really meant to go out there and be your best tacklers. Giants guy says because he was playing bad. Well, if he was playing bad and that's why we're benching players, why don't we bench Daniel Jones for playing bad? Doesn't make sense. And that's why I said in the morning video, you deserve better, and Brian Daboll is letting this franchise and fan base down, more importantly, the fan base. Sven Carlson says, you mean you want the guy Locke that came in and fumbled the ball on the snap, the first play? Yes, I do want Drew Lock to play. Drew Lock, in the last 2 games he started, is 1-1. One of those wins is against the Eagles on Monday Night Football, where he had a 90-yard game-winning drive. A 90-yard game-winning drive where he threw multiple great passes to win the game. Would Drew Lock perform better? Maybe. Maybe he will. It can't be worse. You're not winning. You're not winning games. You're 2-6 for the 7th time in 8 years. And you know what, Smitty? If it is worse, awesome. We're closer to the top of the draft.
Yep.
And we're also not putting ourselves in a spot where Daniel Jones' contract becomes fully guaranteed for next season.
Yep.
There is quite literally no reason in the world to continue to have Brian Daboll start Daniel Jones. And I said this in the video this morning. Starting Daniel Jones at 2-6 is a slap in the face of everybody that calls themselves a New York Giants fan. It's a slap in the face. Because he says, we don't care about you.
It would genuinely be hilarious if Jones is never benched, because that stat line at the end of the year is going to be one that we're all going to laugh at. Hopefully one that we laugh at 5 years from now when the Giants do have a competent quarterback behind center.
It's bad, dude. Like, one of the funnier things last night was the New York Giants have released Gervarius Owens. He was on the practice squad. That tells me the Giants are about to sign somebody to the practice squad. Wonder who it's going to be. Daniel Jones is the 6th QB in NFL history to throw 6 TD passes or less through the first 8 games of the season. Y'all want to hear a crazy stat? And then we'll jump into the mailbag here.
Hit me.
Let me find it.
Is it crazier than the stats that we saw earlier today?
Yeah, we didn't talk about this one on the show this morning. Entering Monday Night Football, teams were 25-2 in prime time in the last 10 seasons when they had a player rush for 145-plus yards and 1+ rushing TD. The Giants made it 25-3 when Tyrone Tracy had 145 yards and a touchdown. You had 145 yards from a rookie running back and a touchdown, and you lost. So you have a great run game with Tyrone Tracy. You have a defense that gave up, what was the final score, 28?
Yeah.
20 points.
26.
26, so the defense gave up because there was a punt return touchdown.
So 19.
19. Again, your defense held the opposing team
Under 20 points.
to under 20, and you lost. Again, he couldn't score Oh, Lord.
Funniest thing about that punt is that they were lined up illegally too. So maybe if they were lined up correctly, they would have had guys in the right spots to go and make a tackle. But no, that just didn't happen.
I did see that, Bush kid. That was hilarious. Yep. Honestly, you are right. The Holy Grail says if I wear a jersey next time, they'll win. You're right. It's my fault. I didn't wear a jersey. It's on me. Agreed, bro. Next week, I'll wear 10 jerseys on top of each other. Do you think that's enough? What's up, Gilly?
You like this?
Dolphin Storm. Dad. The Holy Grail says, oh, stop. What do you mean, bro? You said it. You're the guy who said it. You said the Giants lost because I didn't wear a jersey. Wonderboy Project says we need to work on the O-line. So many pre-snap flags. 15 jerseys next week, the Holy Grail. How about I wear a Saquon Barkley jersey?
Whoa.
Ooh.
Kids wouldn't like that.
What's up, Garcia? Jennifer Tingle says, I wore Malik Neighbors' shirt last night. I support my Giants. Real one. I know people aren't going to like my answer to your question, Gilly, when you say, I'm so sick of working on the O-line. How is this still an issue? I say this in the nicest way possible. Daniel Jones makes your offensive line look worse than it is. It is a skill of a quarterback to be able to manipulate pressure, move the pocket, reset the pocket, make sure the offensive line is in the right spot, a la last night when he didn't shift Theo Johnson from the left side to the right side to block TJ Watt. Please don't tell me we think that was the first time Daniel Jones didn't get his offensive line and pass protection in the right way. Why do you think Tom Brady always had a good offensive line? Why do you think that Peyton Manning always had a good offensive line? Daniel Jones is 3 times the athlete that Eli Manning did. Why? And I know we're comparing him now to Hall of Famers and Super Bowl champions, and that's not fair. But good quarterbacks can make an offensive line that is bad look decent. And the Giants have a decent offensive line right now. They really do. I understand Andrew Thomas is gone, and Hubbard there is not an ideal situation. But that's what happens when you train Josh Azudu to be your swing tackle all year for 2 years now, and you pull him after 1 game. But Brian Daboll says he trusts the process of this organization. We had a couple super chats come in. Let's go to those real quick. I don't even know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this, Gilly. The reason the offensive line still sucks, even though you've changed the offensive line, you've changed the offensive line coach, you've changed the coach, you've changed the coordinator, all with Daniel Jones. Everything has changed except one guy. Just one. Is this offensive line perfect? No. Should they be the best in the league? No. But there's no way that they should be as bad as they are consistently. And I truly do believe that a quarterback, it's a skill of a quarterback. Not turning every pressure into a sack is a skill. Making plays outside the pocket is a skill. Instead of Daniel Jones last night, Smitty, throwing the ball at the end of the game like that, how about just right here? Quick little set, reset. Move up. Right here. Nope, it's off my back foot. I'm going to throw it to the 5'7" Devin Singletary. How about right here, you feel the pressure. Whoop! Whoop! Anyone that's played quarterback, they've done that drill before. What does Daniel Jones do when he sees pressure? Like it's a fall-away jumper.
He literally threw a check down up like a prayer.
Ridiculous.
Thunder, thunder.
Thunder, what up, man? Want to end this DJ discussion? What game was it he broke for 80 yards?
His Eagles back in his rookie season in 2019, Thursday Night Football. I remember exactly where I was watching that game. And the freshman dorm is ready to go out.
Brutal, man. Jay Liv, what up, man? When the Giants drafted Carl Banks, linebacker, was not a position of need for them. But they took him anyway. Look how that worked out. I will never quit on any of my teams. Yeah. I am of the belief that there needs to be a marriage between drafting BPA and drafting for need. And the Giants have tilted the scale a little bit too much for drafting for need than drafting for BPA. When you draft for need instead of BPA, it creates a depth issue on the roster. The Giants are not deep at multiple positions. That's why when Andrew Thomas goes down, they have to go get Chris Hubbard off the practice squad of the San Francisco 49ers. That's why when you have an injury at corner and he played decent last night, you got to go to Greg Stroman Jr. off the practice squad. This team doesn't have the necessary depth at important positions. There's a reason you have to sign Armon Watts off the practice squad of another team because you drafted for need over. You want to draft for need, but you also want to draft for BPA. Right now it's need BPA. It needs to be closer like this, or this. Hopefully the visual learners took that one right there. As we got a 3-point goal, Bobby Alexander, bang! Shout out to Rob Rodriguez. Give me some double R's in the chat. Rob Rodriguez, we love you, man.
Let's go.
Thinking about you. Giants now.
Double R.
Double R, man.
It's been some rough weeks. Glad to have you back in the mix.
Look at all those. My man. Says the current regime has lost sight of the big picture and have become selfish in that their current decisions are made in hopes of instant gratification and save their jobs than building a dynasty for years to come. I 1,000% agree. It's always the quick fix. It's, we're going to trade for Darren Waller to make this offense explosive. We're going to do this for the quick fix. And that's not the fans' fault, Gilly. If your general manager decision-making is impacted by the fans, and they're not someone that should have that position, in my opinion. Joe Schoen, when he took this job, said it's going to be a true rebuild. When has the rebuild taken place? Everything they've done has been a win-ish now move. It has. Trading for Darren Waller, was that you gave up a third-round pick? He gave you 8 games. I agree. This team, the decision makers in the front office, and what I will say is, overachieving in year one made them think that they were hotter than they were. Overachieving in year one and winning a playoff game on the road set this franchise back, and they started to believe in themselves. They started to smell their own selves. And bad drafting. And bad drafting. You tried to build through the draft, but you keep missing. You keep on missing. And we don't need to do that song and dance. But, Rob Rodriguez, we love you. We're thinking about you. Praying for you, brother, and your family, man. Hope all is well. We'll talk later. Love you, brother. Love you, brother. Kenya. King Kenya, what up, big dog? Daniel Jones can have a brick wall in front of him, and he will still throw short or behind the wide receiver. He has major problems. He touches the ball every down. Kenya, you're 99.9% right. Should have said this. Daniel Jones going to have a brick wall in front of him, and he will still throw short, behind the wide receiver, and short of the sticks. Oh, and one more to the other team. You're 1,000% right, Kenya. Smitty said this a couple weeks ago, and it is 1,000% true. He needs to have a utopia around him. He needs to be playing on the all-decade team. He needs to have the NFC All-Pro roster, and then maybe he could be a top 15 quarterback. We've tried offensive line changes. We've tried offensive line coaches changes. We've tried offensive coordinator changes. We've tried head coach changes. We've tried changes at tight end. We've tried changes at running back. We've tried changes at wide receiver. Every position has changed except the one that touches the ball every down. King Kenya. Ding, ding, ding. We got a winner. The Holy Grail, $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Said, what is it with the Giants making the worst adjustments after halftime? It seems like it's every damn week they come back with zero energy. I haven't.
They did lose the third quarter. What? Did the Steelers put up? How many they put up in the third quarter? Because I know the Giants were left on 0, right?
I'm pulling it up right here. Give me a sec. Seven.
Steelers scored 7.
Giants were outscored 17-19 in the second half when it was tied 9-9 at half.
Yeah. So it was just 7-0 on that quarter. But yeah, I mean they couldn't put together any drives in the third quarter.
I don't know if I can. I don't know. They scored more points in the fourth quarter last night, I bet, than they have all season.
Probably.
I don't necessarily have a problem with the lack of or the adjustments that they have made. But, yeah, I mean, you could point to anything for problems at this point. I don't know. I don't necessarily have a problem with the lack of energy of the football team in the second half. I don't know. I think this comes down more so to you had 2 chances to win the game in the fourth quarter or push the game to overtime, and you turned it over. Seems like in the toughest moments this year, the Giants have folded. 4th down against Washington, drop. Game-winning drive against the Cowboys opportunity. Yep. Couldn't get it done. Last night, 2 fourth-quarter turnovers. The Bengals game, there was multiple. How many times do we say, it's now or never? It's now or never for this team.
They tried to hand you that one.
The drops against the Cowboys. They just haven't been good enough. And you can point to so many different areas. Ant2 Official. First time super chat to Ant2 Official. Shout out to you, my man. Thank you for joining the squad. Says, if we can't get someone like Stafford, would you consider someone signing like Joshua Dobbs, or would you rather just start the rookie QB at this point? You know what I would really love, Ant2 Official? Give Drew Lock the last 10 games of this season and then find out if he can be that bridge quarterback to the guy you draft this offseason. So it could be year 2 in the system for Drew Lock. But if you're not going to give Drew Lock a chance, that means you're not going to bring him back. Yeah, I would like to see if you draft a rookie quarterback, you need to go out and sign a veteran QB. You have to.
That's the way it goes now. Like, guys aren't super ready day one anymore unless like C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels. It's 1 in a million. Like, the guy who everybody's been touting as the next Mahomes, Caleb Williams, hasn't looked insane through 8 weeks. He's struggled for sure. Guys are not always ready off the rip. And I'm sure that in a historically bad quarterback class is what everybody's saying. A lot of guys probably won't be ready day one there either.
That's why, for me, it's like this season is over. So let's start making decisions that are going to put the 2025-2026 Giants in the best position to succeed. And a way to do that is by playing Drew Lock. So not because I think Drew Lock can get you to the playoffs, not because I think Drew Lock's going to turn this team around and make an explosive offense, but he's going to let you know by his play if he can be the bridge quarterback for the rookie you're going to draft.
You got to try something.
They don't think they do.
They don't think they do.
Clearly, they don't think they do. Great question. Not that high on Josh Dobbs. The quarterback the free agency quarterback class is a little underwhelming. I don't know. Philosopher, what's up, bro? Thanks for the super chat again. 6 years is humiliating. Marshall, is it safe to say Jones can't comprehend for? He's over his head. He's over his head. He doesn't trust himself. But most importantly, he doesn't elevate others around him. And the quarterback position is a position where if you don't have all 21 starters full-hearted belief in you, you will not succeed. And I think if you put every starter, if you put all 52 players outside of Daniel Jones on a lie detector test and you ask them, do you think Daniel Jones is a playoff caliber quarterback, a consistent playoff caliber quarterback, they would tell you no. This team doesn't believe in him. This fan base, the ones that are logical, do not believe in him. And it's not because, Smitty, we have to have belief.
No.
There's concrete proof out there. Like, there's no need to. We've seen it.
6 years of it.
You have to believe in something, you have not seen it. But we have seen it. Time and time again. 1,800 days with Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. We've seen it. We've seen it.
Pierce, what up?
What's up, Pierce? What is stopping our run defense from being elite?
It's a good question.
Good question. I would say scheme by Shane Bowen alongside the interior defensive tackle position outside of Dexter Lawrence is an absolute joke. And Azeez Ojulari isn't the greatest edge setter in the run game. A lot of light boxes for the Giants. And you're kind of getting moved off the ball.
It was insane to me to see Najee Harris continuously chop down the field,
Untouched for like 5 yards multiple times.
And they never made an adjustment. They never stacked the box. I know leaving your corners and maybe man coverage or something like that isn't exactly ideal because the Giants' corners are weak, but they were running the ball down your throat. You have to eventually commit to the run. They didn't.
And it's almost like I believe his philosophy is like, all right, run the ball, and then we'll get in the red zone. And you're not going to be able to run the ball on us. But
that seems like what it is. Because that's what teams have done to the Giants all year long. The Giants' red zone defense is solid.
Yeah. I think it's a personnel issue. We talked about in the offseason how Shane Bowen ran dime personnel, which is 6 DBs on the field, more often than anybody in the NFL as his time as a defensive coordinator. So I think it's a philosophy thing.
Yeah, that doesn't stop the run.
I think it's a personnel issue. And when you do those two things tied together, it's probably not ideal. Thomas says, any update on Tracy? Concussion protocol. That's all we know at this moment. GTS, what up, dog? Marsh, Giants are tanking on. No, they're not. They're actually trying to win games, brother. How are they trying to tank if they traded a second-round pick and gave $150 million to Brian Burns? If the Giants were taking, they would have kept that second-round pick and they would not have paid Brian Burns. I don't believe that. That 2-point conversion was so blatantly obvious it was a tank play. Well, Brian Daboll said that is a play that the Giants have worked on more than any other play this season in practice.
Did he actually say that? I didn't hear that part.
Said that is a play we've worked on more than any other play. That was this morning. And last night he says we've worked on that play extensively. I don't think the Giants are trying to lose games on purpose. I don't. I don't believe that. We are getting into a mailbag right now, Zach. We did have a lot of super chats that have come in. And the rules here are the super chats that are New York Giants applicable. Those are going to be featured on today's show. If you want to guarantee your spot, you got to send in a super chat. If the super chat well runs dry, Smitty's going to go to the hashtag Giants. Yeah, no, we got a mailbag right now, and then we're going to talk some New York Giants trade rumors. Let's jump into this sack. Shout out to y'all, man. Over 300 people have tuned in already. Over 2,000 people have tuned in. That fires me up. That fires me up because that shows me people still care, and that's exciting. And you know what? Giants don't necessarily deserve it, but, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. It would mean a lot to the kids. Let's dive into this mailbag. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate every single person for stopping by and clicking on today's video. If you are still watching Giants content every single day, you bleed New York Giants blue. First question coming in from Danny Dooms. Marsh, thoughts on an Anthony Richardson trade? They benched him for Flacco. Hashtag Giants. Yes, at the time of recording this video, the Indianapolis Colts have benched Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco. Should the New York Giants trade for him? I don't know. Richardson, still just 22 years old. He was the number 4 overall pick coming out of that 2023 NFL draft class, and he has not had a good season. And he also committed a play that I have never seen a quarterback do. He scrambled and then went to the sideline and tapped his head and said, I need a breather. I'm not necessarily going to say he quit on his team, but man, that is not a good look from your quarterback, and especially when you tell the media why. Lie. Say you had a cramp. Say you're hurt. But man, that's rough. What's even more rough is the stats, or the lack of stats, that Richardson has put up through his first 2 years in the NFL. I mean, look, if you complete less than 55% of your passes in college, you're probably not going to be a guy that has a high completion percentage in the big leagues. He completed 59% of his passes as a rookie, and he has regressed after having a season-ending injury last year. He's thrown 7 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in 10 games. He's thrown 8 interceptions and fumbled 9 times in 10 games. The man has committed 17 turnovers in 10 games. There's no doubt he's a dynamic athlete. There's a reason that he went inside the top 5. There's a reason that people were willing to move up to go get him. He's an athletic player. He can run it. He can throw it a quarter mile. But at the end of the day, the quarterback position has so much more to do than just how fast you can run and how far you can throw. It takes big-time stuff in between the ears. You got to have something a little bit different beating in your chest. And I don't know if I want a guy that is too tired to hand the ball off to be my franchise quarterback. What do you think? Should the Giants trade for Anthony Richardson? Who knows if the Colts are going to trade him? But, man, when you bench a guy not even 2 years into his tenure, I am jealous because it's been 1,800 days of Daniel Jones starting. T for trade, P for pass. It's been a pinned comment on today's show. So when you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and let me know. Would you make a move for Anthony Richardson? For me, this is a pass. I get the talent. I get the upside. And I get the belief that we've seen Brian Daboll work with a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, who is raw with athletic skills off the charts, and Josh Allen. But No, because I question the dog, I question the leadership, and he's also fragile. He's played in 10 games in 2 years. I would pass on Anthony Richardson. My man, the Holy Grail, what up, dog? What is it with the Giants making the worst adjustments after halftime? It seems like I don't necessarily have a problem with the adjustments after halftime. I have a problem with the execution for 4 quarters. Giants have played good quarters. Giants have played good halves. There haven't been many 60 minutes of great football games this year. And it seems like when the Giants get into critical spots is when their blunders become the loudest. 2 turnovers by Daniel Jones in the fourth quarter with an opportunity to tie the football game. Malik Neighbors drop against Washington. Multiple drops against the Cowboys. Couldn't get it done against the Bengals. I don't necessarily believe that's a lack of adjustments. I think it's a lack of execution and overall talent on this roster. Philosopher E, $5 super chat. Giant, is it me, guys? But when that camera turns to Daboll, it looks like he doesn't want to be there. I don't believe in that. Brian Daboll was fired up. Brian Daboll was cursing up a storm. Passion was flowing out of his body. Pause. He was energetic. He was into the game. I don't think that Brian Daboll doesn't want to be here. I think Brian Daboll knows the truth. And the truth is that he is not equipped with the players to win games consistently in this league. And he knows at the end of the day, in his heart of hearts, that there is no solution to the quarterback problem on this team. And I'm sure that could be deflating. But I don't think there's been a lack of effort and a lack of want to for Brian Daboll. I think it's frustration, and I think he is fed up. But I don't question the juice of Brian Daboll. We'll answer more questions coming up in a second. But first, I got to give a major shout-out to our proud ticketing sponsor, the best place to buy tickets for the NFL, NBA, concerts, and so much more. It is Game Time. It's the app where you get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Price actually drop as the events get closer. And also, you get the lowest price guaranteed. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. The reason I love Game Time, and it's the only app that I use to buy tickets, is because of these 2 features. The all-in pricing. I'm tired of seeing hidden fees when I get to checkout. That's a no, dude. That's a no-no with Game Time. You're going to see the price you pay when you use that all-in pricing feature, and you can actually turn on all-in pricing and Game Time picks at the same time. Game Time picks makes it that much more easy to go see your favorite people perform. So download the app, create an account, promo code ChatSports, ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Look, if you're going to go to a Giants game this year, save yourself some coin and use that promo code ChatSports. First purchase only. Terms do apply. Pierce, what is stopping our run defense from being elite? I think it's the philosophical and scheme of Shane Bowen. Shane Bowen is the guy that wants to run a defense with a lot of DBs on the field. He is a guy that with the Tennessee Titans ran a dime personnel group, I believe either at the highest rate or the second highest rate at his time with the Titans at 6 DBs on the field. Having 6 DBs on the field makes it tough to tackle. So I think it's that as well as the personnel. You don't really have any great run stoppers on the D-line outside of Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. Kayvon Thibodeau can't set the edge. Kayvon Thibodeau's not playing. There's a reason you had to go pick up Armon Watts. There's a reason you're having to play DJ Davidson. There's a reason Jordan Riley had to play. There's a reason Raheem Nunez-Roches is getting the snap bulk that he is. You lack the talent to stop the run, but I also think the scheme and the ideology of the Giants defense is, all right, run the ball all the way down the field, and then we're going to stop in the red zone on you. So I think it's lack of talent. I think it's lack of ability, and I think it's also the scheme. That's why I think the Giants defense has not been able to stop the run. And to official, if we can't get someone like Stafford, would you consider signing someone like Joshua Dobbs? No, I would not consider signing like Joshua Dobbs, but I would consider signing a veteran quarterback. I do think that you should sign a veteran quarterback this offseason once you do draft that quarterback in the draft. I think the easiest way to figure out who that should be is by playing Drew Lock. Drew Lock's a free agent after this year. How about if he plays decently well enough, he could be the bridge quarterback to the guy you draft because it would be his second year in the system. Second year with Daboll. Second year in this offense. He'll be able to explain and talk to a young quarterback and help him understand this offense. But for some reason, the Giants refuse to make a change at quarterback. And I get it. Look, the Giants have just been so explosive, and they're winning so many games, and they're scoring so many points with Daniel Jones. You probably shouldn't make a change. But I'm kidding. This team blows on offense. They need to bench Daniel Jones. Greg Congdon, what's up, man? One mock has us drafting Garrett Nussmeier. How do we trade up to save from that? You're going to have picks. Maybe you throw in a player. I have two quarterbacks that have a first-round grade for me. I have Cam Ward. I believe he's a top 10 quarterback grade. And then I have Shedeur Sanders, who is also a first-round grade for me. But I worry about everything around Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if I want to bring the circus to the clown show that is the New York Giants. I think Shedeur Sanders, when it comes to being a quarterback, can succeed in the NFL. I think he's got an elite touch. I think he throws with great anticipation. I think he's extremely accurate. I don't know if I want Deion Sanders being involved in the New York Giants decision-making. And I also, when it comes to Garrett Nussmeier, I got to cover him when he was a high school football quarterback in Texas. Covered 3 of his games. I've interviewed him multiple times. He's got it up here. He's a competitor. He needs to play more football. He's played like 8 games at LSU. I just got to see him play more, but I do see where scouts can fall in love with this guy as a prospect. Good arm, good creativity, good anticipation, good touch, good head on his shoulder. His dad was a QB coach in the NFL. There's no doubt that Nussmeier is a talented player. I still think there's a ways to go in his development, and I think that he could benefit from going back to school. But, man, if you could enter the draft in a bad QB year, maybe you'd be a guy that gets picked when you're not supposed to. Mike G, I wish you would have hit some dingers last night for the Yankees, man. I love you, Mike G. Marsh, this team is depressing. But you, sir, are a stud. I appreciate you. Who do you want if the Giants don't reach a QB? Who do you want if the G-men don't reach on a QB in round 1? Best player available. Best player available. Does not matter the position. Does not matter the position. If the Giants cannot get Cam Ward in the first round, they should take the best football player on the board. And I don't care what the position is. Because there's only 2 positions the Giants can't upgrade from. Starting left tackle and DT1. They could use an upgrade at every other spot. Every other spot. Mike G, back again. Back to back, belly to belly. Also, who's your dream GM and head coach for next year? I think you guys aren't going to like me for this one. I'm making Bill Belichick my head coach, and I'm making Bill Belichick my general manager. I want to bring some respect. I want to bring some winning culture and someone that can get right this ship. I believe Bill Belichick could do that. That's where I would go. I also like Vrabel. Vrabel is someone I would look at. That's what I would do. Drips, is Slayton still a candidate for a trade? Absolutely. Absolutely. Mike Garafolo is reporting the Giants would have to be blown away by an offer. I don't know what that would be, but yeah, he's definitely a trade candidate. Absolutely is, and I think the Giants should exhaust those options. Is Evan Neal that bad to be out? What's crazy is C's 20. Evan Neal was your starting right tackle in the spring. And then something happened. And now he can't play. But Brian Daboll told us Monday morning he trusts the players in the building and he trusts the process. I don't know if I believe that. CTM, when will Joe Schoen address the media? He won't. He won't. He should. Maybe after the season. Maybe after the season. And he'll tell everybody he's the smartest person in the room again. What do we do about Banks? I don't necessarily even think he should have been benched. I went back and watched every play. I didn't necessarily see a lack of effort. I saw a lack of technique when it comes to tackling. Missed a tackle on Harris, missed a tackle on Pickens. I didn't necessarily see a lack of effort that required a benching. But man, that's why all offseason, and if you watch this show, you'll know this, having veterans on a team that is young is so important. The Giants could benefit so much from having Allen Robinson on this team to mentor a young Malik Neighbors. The Giants could benefit so much from having Stephon Gilmore on this team to mentor a young Deontay Banks. The Giants could benefit so much from having a guy like Calais Campbell on this team to mentor young defensive linemen. There is a lack of veteran presence in this team at key positions. And some guy with a widow's peak on YouTube pounded the table for 3 months in the summer saying you need to go out and add veterans at important positions. They didn't listen, and now we are a clown show. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. How many times did I come up here and say, man, you should go get a veteran corner like Gilmore? He could help a young guy like Deontay Banks. Go get a veteran receiver. Help the development of a young guy like Malik Neighbors. But I don't really know what I'm talking about. BG! DJ is simply a bat. QB's killing my love for the New York Giants. Yep. Agreed. We're going to start a petition. We're starting a petition on Sunday. We're starting a petition on Sunday to bench Daniel Jones. So if you want to join the petition, be here Sunday. I'm going to send that petition to 1925 Giants Drive. We will start a petition this Sunday. It'll be shipped out to 1925 next Monday. If you want your name on there, be there next Sunday. Intel_developer. Shout out to you. Shout out to you for the super chat. All right, we got some trade rumors to discuss, then we got to bounce on out of here. Shout out to y'all. 300 people still watching. That's love. Shout out to y'all. If you could, please hit that thumbs up icon. Got 130 likes. Can we get to 150 likes? Can we get 20 people to hit that thumbs up icon? Would greatly appreciate it. Let's do it. We are less than a week away from the 2024 NFL trade deadline, and NFL insider Mike Garafolo says the New York Giants have set a high price for Darius Slayton and Azeez Ojulari. Also, a New York Giants insider has listed 4 players as trade candidates that could be dealt by Joe Schoen. We're going to break all that down on today's show. My question to you, though, is this. Should the New York Giants be sellers at the trade deadline? What do you think? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Sound off for me. Welcome in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We're going to break down all of the trade rumors on today's show as Mike Garafolo responded to Art Stapleton. Shout out to Art Stapleton with beat reporter for the New York Giants. Says, you know what Joe Schoen should be looking at? Seeing if he could sign Darius Slayton and Azeez Ojulari to extensions. I've changed my mind. I'm not dealing pieces away for day 3 picks. I don't care if I get a 6 for Slayton, for example. I haven't always seen it this way. I do now. Mike Garafolo, notable NFL insider, and works for NFL Network, says, well, 2 impeding free agents for the Giants who are valued inside the building would have to be blown away to trade either, from what I gather. What does that tell me? Other teams don't value the New York Giants players like the Giants do, and this is the Giants trying to drive up the price for those 2 players. We'll break that down. Ryan Dunleavy, who also covers this football team, he listed the New York Giants as having 4 players that he thinks they could deal or should deal prior to the 2024 NFL trade deadline, which is coming up on the 5th of November, and we are going to be ready to rock and roll on that day. Join the squad. I don't want anyone missing any news if the New York Giants do make a trade, so subscribe and turn your notifications on. We may be live on the channel. Trade candidate number 1 for the Giants is Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton. What is the market for Darius Slayton? That's a great question. I'm not sure. Slayton is a solid football player. There is no doubt about that. 29 catches this year, 420 yards, a touchdown. He played well on Monday Night Football against the Steelers. He played well against the Seattle Seahawks when Malik Nabers was absent. But at the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. Darius Slayton is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He's free to sign wherever he wants. He's never signed a big money deal. I believe he's going to be looking to get the bag. And I'm just not paying Darius Slayton big money. I'm just not. I believe Darius Slayton is a really, really good wide receiver 3. I think he's a middle of the pack wide receiver 2. And the reason I think he's going to get big money is because players that I think he is just as good, if not better than, got big money this past year. Gabe Davis left the Buffalo Bills and signed a 3-year, $39 million contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Slayton's just as good, if not better. Darnell Mooney signed a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons. And Mike Williams got $10 million from the Jets. Are we going to pay Darius Slayton $13 million? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to pay Darius Slayton $13 million, but we wouldn't pay Saquon Barkley $13 million. And I think it was the right decision to not pay Saquon Barkley that money. Slayton is the model of consistency. 770 yards, 724 yards, 751 yards. I think he's led this team in receiving 5 out of the last 4 seasons. And look, you can't make a team trade for you, trade with you, and you can't make them give you a good pick. And we've already seen some wide receivers dealt this year. Devontae Adams traded for a 3rd-round pick. Devontae Adams is significantly better than Darius Slayton. Amari Cooper was traded for a 3rd-round pick. Amari Cooper is significantly better than Darius Slayton. DeAndre Hopkins was traded for a 5th-round pick that could become a 4th-round pick. He is significantly better than Darius Slayton. And Deontay Johnson was traded for a 5th-round pick swap in the 6th round. And I would say they are relatively in the same boat. Maybe Slayton is a little bit better. The reason that I would trade Slayton for whatever I could get is so that I could have a draft pick to use to improve my team in 2025. Because I'm not bringing him back. I have bigger hopes. I have bigger dreams. And I want a better wide receiver too than Darius Slayton. I believe a good GM could find a player in the draft in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round that could immediately replace Darius Slayton. Azeez Ojulari is another player that is going to be on the trade block, someone that was mentioned by Mike Garafolo as well as Ryan Dunleavy. This one's a little bit more tricky. Ojulari is still just 24 years old, and he is someone that I think is going to command some legit money in the offseason. I think that there could be a market for him in the trade market. He's 24 years old, and he has 6 sacks on the season. That's number 10 in the NFL. But we saw an edge player get traded the other day. Josh Uche going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Patriots got a 6th-round pick. I think Ojulari is a better player than Uche, who is 2 years older than Ojulari. But I think we're just starting to see that teams aren't willing to sacrifice major draft capital mid-year. And at the end of the day, I want to keep Azeez Ojulari long-term. But there is a problem. He's going to get a bag. Like, there's not many guys that can get after the quarterback like he can. He has a weakness, I think, in setting the edge. I don't think he's a great edge setter and run stuffer. But you need depth. And I want to build through the draft, and re-signing a guy like Ojulari is building through the draft. But maybe you look at it as a point of, I want to sell high. He's had injuries throughout his career. It's a contract year. maybe he's playing through the injuries. There's a lot of reasons to think about here. If someone floated me a third-round pick, I would trade Ojulari in a heartbeat. I'm not sure I would trade him for a fourth because you need depth. And you don't want to be one injury away from not having an edge. And it's nice to have Ojulari when Thibodeau gets hurt. It's a sticky situation. I'd trade him for a third. Anything after that, I would keep him and I would bring him back. We're going to talk two more trade candidates that Giants insider Ryan Dunleavy has mentioned. But first, I got to give a major shout-out to today's show's sponsor, Game Time. If you're going to buy tickets to a sporting event, a concert, a comedy show, or something like that coming up, download the Game Time app and use the promo code CHATSPORTS, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. There are so many awesome features about Game Time. I truly believe it is the best app to buy tickets, and it's going to give you the best user experience. You get the lowest price guaranteed. There is also flash deals, and prices drop as the events get closer. And if you use these two features, the all-in pricing feature, there's going to be no hidden fees when you get to checkout, and that Game Time Picks feature is going to make it that much more easy to go see your favorite teams, your favorite performers, and your favorite comedians perform. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It's game time. Check them out. Sports show, sports sponsor. This one was a little different one for me. We haven't talked about trading Devin Singletary on the channel at all. Ryan Dunleavy listed him as a trade candidate for the New York Giants, and his main reasoning behind that was the New York Giants have their running back of the immediate future, and that is Tyrone Tracy. Singletary has been solid this year, but at the end of the day, the way Tyrone Tracy is performing, he should probably get the bulk of the carries going forward. I thought Singletary had a really good start of the year. Then the fumbles kind of got in the way, the injury acted up, and I get it. Like, you want to try to turn someone into your roster that may not be a part of your long-term plans into a pick that could help your long-term plans. But Devin Singletary's under contract next year. And I honestly like a 1-2 punch in the backfield of Tyrone Tracy and Devin Motors Singletary. Like, is that an elite running back tandem? No. Is that a top 10 duo? Maybe. I think it's pretty solid. And honestly, what are you getting in a trade for Devin Singletary? Are you going to trade Devin Singletary in a 7th to get a 6th-round pick? I don't necessarily even think that is worth it. Look, if the Dallas Cowboys desperately want a running back and they want to go get Singletary, sure. I'm not itching to trade Devin Singletary, though. It would also be kind of an indictment on this staff in this organization because you just signed him to a 3-year deal. I don't think they should do it. Last player that Ryan Dunleavy mentioned was Evan Neal. And I thought this one was funny. Because if the question was, what are you getting for Devin Singletary? What in the heck are you getting for Evan Neal? The guy's played 1 snap this year. And it was the swinging gate 2-point conversion. He's just a doom. Look, I get it. You want to salvage everything you get. Maybe you could trade Neal in a 7th for a 6th, like what we talked about with Devin Singletary. But, man, I would rather just keep him, have another offseason, transition him to guard. Maybe he could be your swing tackle. Who the hell is giving up anything up for? What a fall off. What a fall off. This guy was your starting right tackle in the spring. You signed Jermaine Illuminor, and you had him starting at left guard in camp because Evan Neal is your starting right tackle. He went from starting right tackle to not even being your swing tackle. He's no good, and I don't think there's much of a market for him. Is it a 7th and Neal for a 6th? Sure. We could do that. That ain't moving any needles. I don't expect any deadline moves. Like, just to keep it 100%, honestly, I don't expect any deadline moves. I don't think the outside world thinks that players like Darius Slayton are that good. I think they do think Azeez Ojulari is that good, but they also know he's a free agent. He's had injury issues. No one thinks that Evan Neal is good. Like, it's what we do as Giants fans. We overvalue our own players. Slayton is solid. He's a top flight wide receiver 3. if your wide receiver 2 is Darius Slayton, unless you have Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, you're just not going to be that explosive. Make sure you do join us next week when we're live on the channel for the 2024 NFL trade deadline. I promise you, if any moves happen, we're going to be the first place to break it down. So subscribe and turn notifications on, and make sure you are following me on Twitter. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue. If you're always ride or die for Big Blue, hit that thumbs up icon. My brother was in the chat earlier. Shout out to him. I don't know if he's still here, but he asked a good question. He says, what about comp picks for the reason not to trade him? It's a good point.
Trade who?
Slayton or Ojolari.
Oh.
Therefore, they leave in free agency, and then you get a comp pick for the 2026 draft.
Yeah.
The Giants are, at this moment, projected to get a 4th-round pick in compensatory fashion because of Ben Bredesen becoming a starter for the Bucs and Xavier McKinney leaving. What I would say is I would rather just trade him for a 5th-round pick in 2025 than potentially a 6th-round pick in 2026. That's kind of where I'm at.
You just get the 1 4th-rounder for those 2 guys?
Yes, and it's a very
weird.
in-depth formula. Players leaving with their price point, games they start, and then with players that you sign. It's very, I'm not going to act
I'm not
like
super tapped into all of that. Like,
I'm not going to act like I know the exact comp pick formula, but sure, if you don't want to trade him because you want to hold out for comp picks in 2026, sure. I don't want to pay him. Smitty, he can't catch the ball consistently. Don't we want another dynamic wide receiver, elite playmaker next to Malik Neighbors that could demand a double team, that can bend a defense, that could make you not put 22 eyeballs on Neighbors every single play?
Yep.
I don't know.
I know this is probably going to be very hard to do, but maybe even get somebody with better hands than Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, he needs to catch the football.
Fantastic, phenomenal route runner, phenomenal after the catch, as good as anybody in the league in those 2 areas, but he's got more drops than Larry Fitz' whole career right now. I know I'm comparing him to God, but
some big drops.
Yeah, and these
very impactful drops.
Yeah, these aren't first quarter, first second drive, first second down. These are 3rd down, 4th down in the 4th quarter. He'll be fine though. Like, it's just
we all love Malik Neighbors.
We all love Neighbors.
Comes with the territory.
We play in New York. Catch the ball.
You were the number 6 overall pick at receiver.
Our own Tom Downey had you graded as maybe his 2nd highest prospect ever.
Just catch the ball.
Catch the ball. Simple.
Catch the ball.
It might have been one of the best throws of, I argue, maybe even the best throw of Daniel Jones' career on that sideline.
Yeah, that go ball on the right side.
Oh, my God. It was a pretty ball. I don't give Jones credit. I don't even know if I give Jones as much credit as Marshall does. Like, he sucks, but that throw was pretty.
Seven out of the last 8 seasons, this team has started 2-6 or worse. Told you Neighbors should have gone.
The worst outlier in New York Giant football history. If you could take back that playoff win, would you do it?
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
And does anybody disagree in the chat? Like,
Daniel Jones is off your team, and you would have committed to a real rebuild.
I wonder who would be in the QB spot right now if the Giants got rid of Daniel Jones back then. Because I think no matter who it is, it's a better situation than right now.
Absolutely, I would take back that playoff win if I could.
Is the most detrimental playoff win maybe in a team's history.
Get you stuck with 3 years of Daniel Jones at big money no matter what.
Yep.
Like, even if you cut him this year, he's still on the books for $21 million.
And that's not to say that the Giants, are going to win the Super Bowl next year. But that $21 million is valuable, man. That's just on one player alone, that's a top-end elite corner, elite DB, elite defensive lineman.
Oh, yeah, another thing on the Darius Slayton thing. Would I rather pay Darius Slayton $13 million or would I rather pay T. Higgins $25 million?
T. Higgins.
Exactly.
It's not close. That'd be the perfect compliment to Malik Neighbors, in my opinion.
Yeah, Nicole, Slayton's a good player. Slayton's a good player. I'm not paying him $13 million.
Would you even pay him 10? I bet you he ends up getting 3 for 30 in the open market.
I like receivers that can catch the ball.
That is such like a juvenile statement. I like receivers that catch the ball because that's their job.
I don't know.
Slay is dropping.
Is he a bum? No. Is he?
He had a really good night last night.
Had a good night last night.
Bronx boy, Pat Surtain, really?
His game of contract extension. He ain't leaving.
Hey, Greg, you're right. He's just not the wow factor. He doesn't jump off the page. You can find another Darius Slayton. Trust me, there's receivers out there that'll drop the ball for the Giants.
That's my thing. I honestly feel like the production that Slayton gives, that's easily replaceable. Giants haven't replaced him because they have not been good at identifying talent and then acquiring talent and then developing said talent. But I'm not saying he's a stiff. I'm not. At one point, I thought he sucked. I did think at one point he sucked. And he did suck at one point. The Giants tried to cut him. And they made him take a pay cut to stay on this team. But man, I think he is a replacement level player. He's just a guy.
Yep,
he's a jag.
He's a jag.
He's a jag. And being a jag in the NFL is a very high achievement.
Absolutely.
He's just a jag, though.
Could have a long career. But never going to raise your ceiling. Aux says, Marsh, did you record the day 2 of asking the Costco guys to come to the Chat Sports video? Me and Marsh did not participate today.
We did not participate in day 2, but Aux, they responded to our day 1 video.
On TikTok, it was lit.
They responded to our day 1 video, Aux. On the bright side, this Sunday is a Lawrence Taylor bobblehead doll day. Yeah, Aux, go check out the Chat Sports TikTok. They responded. Mr. Rick, Tom Coughlin needs a friend.
Yes, Mr.
Tom
Rick.
Coughlin needs a friend on my work desk.
I need a friend for Coughlin.
Nicole O'Brien says, I believe with a better QB, Slay can be elite. Look, I think he's a good receiver. If Darius Slayton is your 3rd best receiver, you're in a good spot.
In a great spot.
But Smitty, he can't be the highest paid receiver on my team.
And that's what he is currently.
And that's what he would be if you paid him.
Yep. Yeah, you really have to think about it that way. Do you want Darius Slayton to be the highest paid receiver on your football team?
If you pay Darius Slayton, you are locking yourself into the 2-man duo of Slayton and Neighbors. I want more. I just want more.
I think the Giants will go receiver in the draft at some point, too.
They got to go a lot of
They got to go a lot of ways in the draft. I don't know. Maybe would
Chase Sports Cards. If you had to pick Darius Slayton or Devontae Smith, it is not even close.
Wait. What?
Devontae Smith is so much better than Darius Slayton.
Devontae Smith was the Heisman like 2 years ago.
I think he was trolling.
Okay, I hope so.
Justin says, what do I think of the Yankees right now?
They're dead. It's over tonight.
They are resembling their leader. Unclutch. Soft. Low leverage. Let's play a game here, and then we'll sign off.
What do you got? Justin, my friends were clowning me for saying the Yankees would get swept too. I mean, Matt Robertson says, doom York City right now. Justin, I'm a Yankee fan, big-time Yankee fan, from the Hudson Valley, take the train down to Yankee Stadium all the time, and I said before this series, the Yanks were done in 5, and they're going to one-up me and get swept. Thunder, maybe Marsh feels different. He's obviously watched a ton more than I have. I just don't think Jalen Hyatt is a very good football player. I really don't. I think he was playing in a deep ball happy offense in Tennessee. Numbers might have been a little bit inflated for his skill set. And I don't think he's a super strong receiver. If he were to ever be more productive in this league, he would have to put some more weight on. Would that make him a little less quick? Maybe, but it would probably help him at the catch point, which he's not good at right now.
Nicole O'Brien. Would I pay Azeez Ojulari? I think it matters what the price tag is. If I'm a team that needs a pass rusher, I'm paying Ojulari to be a starter.
Yeah.
I mean, people that watch this channel, I think that they will go to bat saying Marshall has been a huge Azeez Ojulari guy. I did a video before the season started where I said that X factor for the New York Giants is Azeez Ojulari. If Azeez Ojulari has a great year, they can be an elite defense. I envision that as the third situational pass rusher and not Kayvon Thibodeau. And even then, the Giants have still been a pretty damn good defense this year. Have they given up more than 20 points in a game?
G. Mooney, Kyron Lacey will probably be a first-round pick.
You gave up 28 points to Philly. You gave up 19 points to Pittsburgh. Gave up 17 points to Cincinnati. You gave up 20 points to Seattle. You gave up 20 points to Dallas. You gave up 15 points to Cleveland. You gave up 21 points to Washington. And you gave up 21 points to Minnesota. So you've given up more than 21 points as a defense one time. One time. This defense is solid. Mike G. Oh, I mean, I don't hate the LSU wide receiver tree. It would have been pretty good. I'm confused. Cha says maybe Daboll is starting DJ because Washington is the only NFC East team he beat in his miserable career. Yeah, I tweeted it out today, and I think the joke went over a lot of people's heads, which I get it. The written word and sarcasm is hard to understand sometimes. But I said benching Daniel Jones against the Commanders would be dumb. It's the only team he has beaten more than twice, and he usually dominates them. He averages 211 passing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns, and half an interception a game. Think about it like that. The team that Daniel Jones has had the most success against in his life, he averages 211 passing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns, and half an interception. That went over some people's heads, though. Agreed, Kenya. Agreed. And I tweeted out this morning the Giants would be 6-2 with average quarterback play, and I'm not BSing. I actually believe that. If the Giants had Smitty, who's the most average quarterback in the NFL?
Most average quarterback in the NFL? Derek Carr, or is he below average?
Derek Carr's pretty freaking average.
That's about as average as it gets, right?
That's about as average as it gets. If you had Derek Carr You beat the Steelers.
Yeah, 100%.
You lose to Philadelphia.
Yeah, sure.
I think you beat Cincinnati.
They gave you so many options, so many chances.
You so many. You clearly beat Seattle. I think you beat Dallas. You lost by 5, and I think you beat Washington. If Geno Smith is your quarterback, I think you're 6-2, maybe 5-3.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like these guys wouldn't have the Giants at 7-1 or anything like that, but like there's a legitimate argument to be made that this could be a 5-3 football team.
Should have beat Washington. You lost by 5 to Dallas. You should have won that game. You had chance after chance after chance against Cincinnati, and you should have beat Pittsburgh last night.
Chance after chance after chance, by the way, with Pittsburgh. 2 chances in the fourth quarter to put a game-winning drive together.
An average quarterback in that game beats Washington, they beats Dallas, they beat Cincinnati, and they beat Pittsburgh.
What if the Giants had Jameis Winston?
5-3.
I agree.
5-3 if Jameis Winston is this team's quarterback.
Because Jameis, you know what the difference between Daniel Jones and Jameis Winston is? There's a lot actually, but the main difference is that they both turn the ball over, but Jameis Winston also scores, like a lot. Daniel Jones doesn't even score. How about Kenny Pickett, Pete Cho?
Probably same boat.
I love that we're reaching here, but no. I'd actually probably rather have Daniel Jones. Fields is on a 1-year deal. Fields could be the bridge guy.
I don't hate a Justin Fields bridge. Oh, yeah, Mike G, you're right. Russell Wilson wanted to be a Giant, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He wanted to come play for the Giants on a veteran minimum deal.
I think when he was initially wanting out of Seattle, he wanted to be a Giant.
He wanted to be here. You know what Joe Schoen told him? You're the backup to Daniel Jones.
Imagine getting told that.
And they go and light you up.
Russell Wilson had a phenomenal game last night. The stats might not suggest it, but Russ could have had 3 or 4 touchdown passes in that game last night.
Why am I getting him a young Sean Connery? What does that even mean?
Is it the same guy?
Did someone say that before?
Yeah, remember a couple weeks ago, somebody said the same thing.
Dead. Yeah. And it was so obvious Brian Daboll wanted Russell Wilson. Go listen out. Brian Daboll spoke about Russell Wilson before the game. He used the explosive word 4 times. Talked about he's been to 2 Super Bowls. Talked about how he's been and won a Super Bowl. Marshall Bond. Young Sean Connery with a Jack Nicholson widow's peak. I'm looking at Sean Connery.
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
The only one that I ever actually see, and maybe this is because I watch it, the Kevin Owens is hilarious.
I've gotten that one a good bit.
It's hilarious.
I've gotten that one before. I also get Zubac from the Clippers.
Oh, Zubac's a good one too. Yeah,
I've gotten Zubac a lot. One of my high school best friends, he used to say that all the time.
Couple of inches and maybe.
Some girl in high school once told me that I looked like in the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith. She said I looked like
Brad
Mr.
Pitt?
Smith. She wanted me.
Yeah, I was gonna say she called you Brad Pitt.
She wanted me.
She wanted you. You know what I got called this weekend? Somebody said I look like Dave Portnoy. All right. Before we go, I want to tell this quick story. I went to Ole Miss over the weekend. Shout out Eli. And I went to a frat party. Don't ask why. I went to a Halloween frat party. We did not wear costumes. The couple of my buddies who are all graduated. No, we did not wear costumes.
So y'all were naked?
We wore regular clothes.
Okay.
We wore regular clothes, and I was told there was rumblings going around within the frat while we were outside. Who are these old guys?
Stop lying.
I swear to God on my life. I was told I look 30.
30?
I think the main reason is because first of all, all these kids look 15. I felt kind of gross being there. But I think what the thing is a lot of kids down in the South, especially at Ole Miss, don't rock facial hair. Everybody's super clean shaven. So maybe that's what it gave it away. But I was appalled that I was being called 26.
Who's the old guy?
You
were the old guy at the frat party.
Dude!
Close the yearbook, Smitty.
I'm a year and a half out of school. It was the first, and I didn't go to a college that had frats, but that is the first and last time that I will be at a fraternity party.
Yo, who were the old? Did y'all know
it's unbelievable.
There? Did y'all know anyone there?
We knew somebody there. We knew like one guy.
Gotcha. That's hilarious.
We didn't just hop into the random frat party. It was pretty cool though, what they had going on. No, I'm not 30 J sports cards. I'm 23.
I'm the only 30-year-old here.
That's big bro.
Hey, Rivera says Smitty looks old for his age, not going to lie.
Damn, yo.
I think it's the glasses.
Is it the glasses?
Take the glasses off.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me get on the...
I think you look noticeably younger when you take your glasses off.
I can't see shit right now. All right. I can't even see myself.
You look noticeably younger without your glasses. The Bronx boy says it's the hair.
Because I have a comb over? Because that's how my hair works? My bad. God damn. What did I do wrong?
You definitely look way younger without your glasses.
Because
it shows off more of like the young profile, young facial features.
Yeah. That's... I have contacts. It's just tough for me to wear them because they only affect distance. And
Are you losing your hair?
No!
That's what Thunder says.
Thunder.
You got a head full of cheddar.
Bro, this is not even that bad. Like, this is not even a bad hairline at all. It's really bad in the back, low-key, though. But, yeah, no. I'll be in Turkey soon enough getting that transplant.
Nicole O'Brien.
It's the glasses. You look 25 without them. So I still look older than I am. All right. I can't win. LeBron hairline! Damn, that was bright. My bad, bro. I'm pale as shit. I'm also behind a black black background right now, which even makes it worse. I can't get fluffy hair, Justin. Look at this. This is like the finest, thinnest nonsense you'll ever see in your life. I can't believe we're all talking about my hair right now. I'm good, Jennifer Tingle. How are you?
A. Rivera, I am 6 foot. 6 foot exactly.
I'm 6 foot on the driver's license, but I am not 6 foot. Oh my God. Back is thin, cuz. It's bad. There's this photo of my journalism dean came in, and we had a bunch of like cool speakers come in and talk to our class in a big panel, and I was right in front of him when he took the picture. Bald spot right in the back of the head. Ridiculous.
Smitty looks like a depressed accountant. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I love Smitty getting roasted right now.
This is unbelievable. I shouldn't even have told you guys this story. Smitty is a cougar hound with that look, Mr. Rick?
What does that even mean?
That's insane. I'm chasing cougars?
That's kind of cool.
I mean, my girlfriend is older than me. Smitty, get a taper fade on the sides. I ain't getting a don't taper fade. I can't pull that off. Oh. Mike G, thank you so much, my man. It's all jokes. I love you, bro. Love everybody in the chat. Smitty, how did you come from Goshen to the South? Kevin, good memory there. Hudson Valley native. Luis, I'm definitely not a Daniel Jones lookalike. I got this job at Chat Sports out of college. Shout out Marshall. Was one of the guys who interviewed me, and I moved down here, packed up and left. Haven't seen my family in years.
Mike G, I'm with you. I'm looking for an older girl. Hopefully she's got some money too.
Facts. I want to be a stay-at-home dad, baby.
If y'all know any attractive 28 to 32-year-old women that love the Giants, send them my way. Send them my way.
Jonathan Taylor, who is Gilbert Lowe?
Are you saying we could be brothers? Are you saying we could be brothers?
Me and you?
Mike G.
Mike G saying that?
Mike G saying we could be brothers.
Mike G, there are clear physical distinctions between myself and Marshall.
No, he's saying me and him could be brothers
in-laws.
because his sister is single.
Oh my goodness, Mike G.
I'm dead. All right, this thing's off the rails.
This is really off the rails.
Marsh, my grandma thinks you're really hot. She's 32. Shout out to Grandma Tattoo Studio.
Ridiculous.
Oh, dead. Oh, dead.
Shout out the 845, Kevin.
Jonathan Taylor says you look like Gilbert Lowe.
Yeah, I just looked that up.
Who is that?
It's from Revenge of the Nerds. Old 80s movie, I believe. I can see it's a glasses thing. Blonde hair.
Melissa from Albany. Yeah.
/ Trenton, Jersey.
Thing is, she wasn't from Albany or Trenton.
Who is this?
She got banned. He on a she. That just is what it is. The real ones know. The real ones know about
Mike D said, yo, chill.
Bill, you know what? My day's made now. My day is made, Bill.
Oh, yeah, Yankees do start in 10 minutes.
All righty. We're getting out of here. We got to go watch the Yankees.
Yes, sir.
I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. The fact y'all showed up today, that fires me up. Very, very thankful. I love y'all. We'll see y'all later. Maybe live on Friday, maybe not. We'll see y'all later. Let's go Big Blue.